Hey everybody, David Brody here for Digital First, CBNnews.com. We're in a private room at the Values Voter Summit in Washington, D.C. All the bigwig politicians doing their thing. We just found out that Jeb Bush and Christie were actually snubbed from this event. We're not invited at all. We talked to Tony Perkins. He's the head of the Family Research Council. He's the guy putting on this shindig, if you will. And he revealed this to us in an interview we did right here in this room. Have a look. I am curious, and not that I want to go through every reason why, but you know, Jeb Bush, Christie, some of these folks are earned here, Scott Walker, others. Does that disappoint you at all, or you understand the situation? I know there's probably certain reasons why some of them couldn't make it, but
well, one is they weren't invited, so that might be part of the reason.
Well,
I mean, look, it's not a presidential election year. Now, in a presidential election year, we will invite all of those who are candidates. This is a values voter summit. We literally had to turn away people who wanted to speak, who are our standard bearers in the political process. I mean, there's only so much we can do in 2 days. And we don't like giving people 5 or 10 minutes to speak. We want to give them 15, 20 minutes so they can actually develop their thought and their message. So that means we have to make choices. And so there are folks that, quite frankly, aren't at the top of the list when it comes to value voters who they want to hear from. So not everybody was invited. Doesn't mean we don't like them. Doesn't mean we won't invite them. Next year we'll focus primarily on presidential candidates, and everybody else will not be invited.
So just so I understand, I just want to help me through this. So people like Jeb Bush, Christie, you thought about it, but
they were not invited this year because they just weren't on the top of the list in terms of what they're doing right now and whether or not it was relevant to the value voters and who they'd want to hear from. They shouldn't take it the wrong way.
Right.
It's just, we have a lot of good conservative leaders that are fighting on our issues right now that wanted to be a part of this, that even we couldn't fit all of them in.
Right, and just so we're on the record, I want to be clear, because Marco Rubio is not here, but that's different.
No, actually Marco was invited. I had a conversation. He had a weekend event with his daughter at their school. We talked about it. He wanted to be here, and he said, but I promised my daughter, who is I think 13, and I said, Marco, we are the Family Research Council. No more excuses. You're free. But thanks. We'll have you next year.
So that's the news from inside the private room at the Values Voter Summit. Digital First, CBNnews.com.